Alphabet at least looks like it's taking the threat from artificial intelligence seriously, not only introducing a bunch of new products, but also reportedly starting to think about what business model might make sense in an artificial intelligence world. Some recent reporting showed that Alphabet may put an artificial intelligence search engine behind a paywall, which would be a very different model from a lot of the products that Alphabet has built in the past. We do know that some of the AI tools have made their way to some of the paid products like Google Sheets, which is often included in the G Suite, but this would be potentially a brand new product and could really change the trajectory of the company. So it'd be important to go through exactly what we know and what's reported so far, and then put it in the context with Alphabet's numbers, because search is really the cash driver of this company, but an AI-powered search may not actually make financial sense. And this is one of the strange things about artificial intelligence. It's really easy to say, hey, we can use this for a million different things, but if it's 10 times or 100 times more costly than a traditional search, what's the business model behind it? Because advertising isn't going to support that, at least in the current environment. My name is Travis Hoium. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. And thanks to this video's sponsor, The Motley Fool. If you go to fool.com/ASYM, they'll give you their top 10 stocks to buy right now. So let's first go to the reporting that we got last week. This is from the FT, and what they're talking about is that Google considering charging for AI-powered search and a big change to its business model. So the business model right now is for Google to make money on advertising. So they don't charge you to do a search, but they do show ads. And the levers that they can pull is they can be more effective than other competitors in showing ads. So showing ads that you want to see, that you end up clicking on. That was really the innovation behind Google, and the reason that it dominated search in the late 90s and early 2000s is it was just a more effective search engine, and then it matched customers with advertisers in a more effective way. So they were willing to pay more per ad. So you can grow that way. You can grow in the number of searches that are being performed. That's kind of flatlined recently. And then you can increase the advertising density. So the number of ads that show up. This is one of the reasons that mobile has been so effective for Google and for Meta, and from an advertising perspective, is a advertisement just shows up across the entire screen. So great for their business model. What they're considering is charging premium for premium searches powered by artificial intelligence. This is similar to what ChatGPT does today. ChatGPT does have a free version, but then also has a premium version, which is going to kind of move you up the tier of quality of the models that you can access on ChatGPT. So it says that engineers are already developing the technology to deploy things behind the scenes. The traditional search engine would remain free, but this could really change the way that Google's business works. And one of the challenges that they highlighted in here is that this could be a threat to the way Google's business monetizes. So an artificial intelligence is going to give you an answer. So what they call an AI-powered snapshot, whereas a search engine in the 10 blue links is going to give you options. Do you want the first link or the second link or the third link? It's not going to tell you the answer that you're necessarily looking for unless it's in one of those little boxes at the top. So does that take away advertising opportunities if Google is actually just showing you the answer? I think that's possibly the case. The other thing is that artificial intelligence is significantly more expensive. So let's show some of those numbers. Now, this is a look at revenue and operating income at Google. And this is not quite the same comparison because they don't break the numbers out the same on the revenue side and the operating income side. But what I pulled is Google search and other revenue is in blue, and in orange is Google services operating income. That actually includes operating income from products like YouTube, but that's not terribly profitable. So most of the operating income is probably associated with search. So if we assume that's the case, search generated $175 billion worth of revenue last year and was about $96 billion worth of operating income. Now that's a very high margin product and a very scalable product. But if the cost for an inference for an artificial intelligence powered search is 10 times more expensive than it is for a traditional search, which I've seen estimates from 10x to 100x more expensive, that means that all of that profitability would be eaten up by just simply the operating costs, the energy costs, the data center costs that would go into building out these AI-powered tools. And this is fundamentally the problem. Can you just stick AI into Google's existing business, or do you need to create an entirely new business? And this seems to be exactly what the company is struggling with right now. Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. One of the things I like to say here on asymmetric investing is that business models matter. It matters how your business is structured and what your incentives are for actually making money. So Google has always been a company that was built on advertising. The search bar was built for advertising. Their back end is built for advertising. The cloud that they built is built for advertising. Everything is geared towards advertising. They have added on some other services and businesses that are more of a subscription model. I mentioned the G Suite earlier. So that's an example of a product that's going to be much more of a recurring revenue source or a SaaS model. The Google Cloud is a little bit similar to that, where customers are going to pay on an ongoing basis for what they're using. But the core profit center for Google and for Alphabet is the search business, and that's based on advertising and matching customers with people who would like to serve them with the products that they're selling. In an artificial intelligence world, does that model make sense? And I think that's fundamentally the question that the entire tech industry is going to be dealing with over the next 5 to 10 years. Does it make sense to have advertisements just sitting on the side like you would at banner ads in the old days of the internet? Does it make sense for you to paying a subscription fee, and so you get a certain number of searches for $5 a month or $20 a month? Do your searches or your chatbot get better as you pay more? So now we have a internet of haves and have-nots. Or do you have a business model where advertisers are just feeding into the artificial intelligence system? If I ask where it would be great to take a vacation, does a company like Airbnb or Booking.com pay to be part of the answer and part of the solution that I get from a company like Alphabet? All of these are different business models, and they change how we're going to use artificial intelligence, how we're going to use search, and where the value ultimately goes. This is what Google is struggling with right now, is what do these business models look like in the future, and where do things grow in the future? The one thing I want to keep in mind for investors is that I don't think search is going away. There's been a lot of discussion about what happens to search. This is such a profitable business, just such a phenomenal business. Is it going to be disrupted? And I don't think the answer to that today is yes. And that's because artificial intelligence just isn't good enough to give every answer and every option that I might want. And people are used to using the search tool. And so that's fundamentally going to be something that we're going to continue using for a very long time. You might remember that AOL was around for a very long time after it was technically obsolete. Cable connections and DSL had become much, much better. So these legacy businesses have a tendency to continue on, maybe not in the same profitable way as they once were, maybe not in the same growth perspective. But I do think it's good that Google and Alphabet are starting to test different business models with artificial intelligence, because they have the tools, the TPUs, the cloud infrastructure, the user base to be able to make a great business out of artificial intelligence, but they need to figure out what in the world that is. Maybe some of that's behind a paywall. Maybe some of that is advertising supported. Maybe some of those advertisements are just fed into the answer. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but keep an eye on the business model, because the way that Google is valued today is based on the old business model. And so the new business model could be better. It could be worse. It could be disruptive. We simply don't know. And that's why a lot of these companies are throwing different things at the wall, trying to figure out what is going to stick. So I'll be back covering artificial intelligence and the business model behind it, because I think that's what's phenomenally interesting in 2024 and beyond. But what do you think about Alphabet potentially charging for AI-powered searches? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.